Hi students, today the topic according to your syllabus is generic functions of management. Already we know management is a set of functions. The following are different functions performed by the management. First one, planning, organizing, staffing, directing. Under this heading there is another four functions performed by the management. First one, supervision, motivation, leadership, communication. The fifth one is controlling. This can also explain with the help of this diagram. Let us go to explain briefly one after another. First one, what is planning? Planning is a future course of action. That is, what will we do can be decided at now, which includes where to do, when to do, whom to do, which can we do, what can we do, and so on. This is the central concept of the management. The success of the management should always depend on the ideal planning. A plan can be prepared by the experts in an organization. Otherwise, this is not success in the organization. That means when the inefficient manager prepared the planning should not be success. That is, planning is always framed by the experts in the organization. Let us go to the next one, organizing. Already we know organization is a group of persons, group of individuals. There must be a proper relation or network or framework among them. Management is always giving the better interpersonal relationship among the individuals. That is, who is the superior, who is the subordinate, who is the inferior, who is the accountability, to who can prepare the rules and regulations, who are the line managers, who are the executors. These all positions are prepared by within the meaning of the organization. That means how to get the basic objective or goal by the inculcating of the various individuals through defining their positions in an organization. Positions in the sense, according to the size of the organization, there must be various positions. For example, chairman, next directors, next departmental officers, next supervisors, next clerical staff, like that. In this organizational chart, we will always looking who are the responsible or who are the accountable for giving a particular work or task is called organizing. Next function is staffing. Staffing means procurement of appropriate employees into the organization. Appropriate means suitable employees getting into the organization. There is a separate process to be adopted to obtain of the individuals into the organization. That is, first one, recruitment. Second one, selection. Third one, training and development. Fourth one, placement. That means recruitment first of all. Recruitment means identifying the vacancies, call for biodatas or applications and scrutinization of the applications. These are the three elements that comes under the roof of recruitment. Selection in the sense the other applications are calling for interviews, make a written test, make a medical test and give the appointment order. Training and development. That means whenever you have given a appointment, they will go to send you to training. Training means to provide some initial work nature. That means to provide the training for the basic elements of the allotted or offering the job. Development. That means sometimes a person was recruited, already he is experienced. His situation, he can be forced to provide a development program. That means to give the some guidelines how to exist in my organization. Already you have worked in another organization, you are having an experience, but our organization is having a separate format or separate policies. According to this, you will be forced to make some training. This is called development. Let us go to directing. Directing is very much important. It is the nature of the captain, nature of the leader. A better leader or better captain can provide the directions. Directions in the sense better guidance or instructions to doing the work by the subordinates. Under this, there are four important functions performed by the manager and director. That is supervision. That means the people are supervised with the appropriate procedure, appropriate schedule, supervising the subordinates according to the nature of work, time allowed, time finished, and timely they have completed. That means to provide some practical instructions and provide some guidelines practically or instructing the employees where practically is having a doubt. Motivating, that means stimulate the employees towards his given job. Otherwise, he is not able to perform perfectly. How to motivate the employees? By using of various academic or non-academic incentives. Next one is leadership. Leader means is a captain. He must be having some style to manage the people in the organization. There are various styles performed by the manager. That is authoritarian style, democratic style, free line style, organizational context style. These are some styles to be adopted by the leader to directing the employees. Next one is communication. Communication is also very much important in an organization. That means communicate the information throughout the organization. There are various methods to be followed to communicate the information throughout the organization. That is verbal communication and verbal communication and non-verbal communication. Verbal communication means mouth and circulars. Non-verbal communication means signals and signs. Let us go to last one, controlling. Stimulate the employees towards his given job can be called as a directive. Now here, controlling means streamlining the behavior of the employees in an organization. Whenever the employee is not able to work properly due to his some disturbances, due to his negative thinkings, negative personalities, then the manager come forward and take some controlling techniques. That means the first one is explanation, second one is counseling, third one is he will go to send the higher authorities to make some explanation. Third one is suspend. Even though he is not able to change, immediately terminate the employee from his given job. This is a very much important question in the examination point of view. This can also I have explained with the help of this diagram. Here some angles I have taken into consideration. Here planning, here organizing, here stacking, here directing, here controlling. This is a very much important. Let us go through again briefly. Planning, future course of action. Organizing, making interpersonal relationship among the employees, staffing, procurement of people's into organization, directing, guidance to the individuals, supervision, that means maintain the employees with providing practical instructions, motivating, stimulate the employees, leadership, that means making some regular guidelines as a captain, communication, that means communicate the information through the organization, through verbal or non-verbal, controlling, streamline the employees when employees not able to work properly, then they will go to make some controlling techniques. The class is to explain the evolution of management thought. It can also called as approaches to management, can also called as management eras. The total evolution, that means history, has dropped in a specific diagram like this. Evolution of management thought. Basically, we will go to study the history or the background of the management. In first era, pre-scientific era or approach. Second one, classical approach or era. Neoclassical approach or era. Modern approach or era. Pre-scientific approach is a single thought which is only beginning of the industrial revolution. Classical approach, it is a middle age of industrial revolution which can be studied with the help of the three main areas: scientific management, administrative management, bureaucratic management. Third approach or era is a new classical era. We will mostly study the background of this approach through two areas: human relations, behavioral science. Fourth one is modern era. Now you are under modern era. Four important elements: quantitative approach, systems approach, IT approach, universal approach, and also fifth one is contingence approach. Now, pre-scientific approach. It is the beginning of the industrial revolution, can be called before 1980. That is middle of the 18th century. The impact of management industrial revolution brought about the complete change of methods of production, tools, techniques, procedure, and involvement of the factors of production. So this is a beginning era of the management. Let us go to classical approach. If you want to go to give a clear-cut period between 1880 and 1930, classical approach is the oldest form of approach of management. It roots predate the 20th century. Here, there is some better improvement of the industrial procedures, industrial initiations. We will go to study what are the initiations has taken more than the pre-scientific approach with the help of three areas. Scientific management. It was introduced by F.W. Taylor. That means in the pre-scientific approach, work is going in a thumb rule. That means time taken into consideration. a worker or employees come to the organization and spend in a number of hours. It was replaced by some precise procedure. That means careful study of the industrial work. That means time recording, standardization of the rules, activities, discipline, role of managers, and hierarchical position of the managers. This is the class scientific management. Next goes to administrative management. That means it is a administrative efficiency, administrative policies, principles, ideas will be inculcated in the organization to better perform the industrial production and as well as the administrative talent, which is very much important to make a better success. Next one is bureaucratic management. That means the industries are maintained by the individuals, a owner. It is one type of organizational culture which denotes capitalism, defined by specialized functions, legal authority, hierarchical forms, consisting of rules and regulations within the hands of the capitalist economy. Next, neoclassical approach. This is some extent of improvement of the classical approach. In this approach, the entrepreneurs or industries or business persons are concentrated on behavior of the employees. If you want to give the period, approximately is between 1930 to 1950. Behavioral approach emphasizes improvement of psychological concept of the employees. Under this, there are two aspects concentrated by the entrepreneurs or business persons. The first one is the human relations. If you want to get the qualitative, quantitative and effective output, it is only possible better human relations. Human relations in the sense between employer and employee, between employee and employees, between hierarchical positions and secondary positions, to prevent the misunderstandings and lack of communication, miscommunication. Next one is behavioral science. That means studying of the attitude, movements, psychology. What are the movements of the employees? How he was make a grievance, dissatisfaction, how it will go to resolve. These all are taken into consideration in behavioral science. Let us go to fourth era is modern approach. Modern approach means today this is the present approach. We are under modern approach. Now it is a modern approach. If you want to see a specific period is after 1950. Here there are updated technical devices, statistical devices and instruments are using to make a better improvement in management for getting of the more advantages. These are the some components or elements studied in this era. First one is quantitative approach. Nowadays, management can also using quantitative techniques, statistical techniques, mathematical techniques, and all other fields regarding to any other concept of integrations and all other elements of speed and accurate tools are using to get the output. Systems approach. This is also a latest version to improvement of the management efficiency. That means the total organization is treated as one system. The one system can also divide into subsystems. Each subsystem allotted to a separate individual. To to get the better output, better performance and better accountability. IT approach, now you are under computerized tools, techniques, approaches are taken into consideration to make it easy to get the speed and accurate output with the application of management tools. Universal approach. Nowadays, any activity or any item using in management, it is not meant for one area, it is looking with universal. That means not limited, where we are doing a one formula which is meant for, which is using all over the world. Contingency approach, this is also called as situational approach. Management is giving the guidelines, procedures, policies and tools or punishments according to the situation. One rule, one formula, one punishment should not be followed to all the situations. According to the situation, the management is giving the guidelines or any other related information.
Hi student, today we would like to discuss another topic according to your syllabi is generic functions of management. Already we know management is composition of functions. It is playing a different functions to growth of organization and as well as expansion. There are 5 functions performed by the management. These are the very much important, repeated for each and every organization, irrespective of the size and nature. Let us go to explain one after another. First one is planning. It is the basic function of management, which involves future course of action. That is, what would be done, which can be decided at now. It is a advanced appropriate course of action for achievement of predetermined goals. Planning decide in advance, which is representing a specific words, that is what to do, when to do, how to do, where to do, whom to do, etc. It bridges a gap from where are and where we want to be. This can be obtained with the help of planning. The uncertainties, risks and wastages can be minimized with the help of planning. Planning is very much essential if you want to get a defined target of an organization. Defined target is earning of more profits in the market. Planning is a central concept which can be drive the other functions of the management. Let us go to next function, organizing. It is the process of bringing together physical, financial and human resources and developing productive relationship amongst them for achievement of organizational goals. Organization is a network or framework which can be representing interpersonal relationship among the individuals in an organization. That is, who is the superior, who is the subordinate, who can gives the accountability, who can make the rules and regulations, who can execute the rules and regulations, who are the ultimate responsibility, who can render the duties and responsibilities, who can bear the duties in an organization, which can be drawn with the help of a separate organizational chart. So simply, organization is a network in an organization which is representing various positions in an organization. There is a need to know the process of organization or steps involved to get the best organizing in an organization. The following are the steps to be followed for construction of better organization. First one is identification of activities. That means how many activities are going in an organization, particularly academic activities and non-academic activities. Accordingly, the positions to be fixed. For example, how many financial staff to be required, how many production staff to be required, and how many research staff to be required, accounting department staff to be required. These all are, first of all, identification of activities. Classification or grouping of activities. According to the nature of the activity, we will be goes to divide it into certain parts, or if you want to goes to call as departments or sections. In each section or each class, how many persons are there, what are their designations, and what are their positions to be fixed. Assignment of duties. This is a very much important. Why? Because organizational majority cases hierarchical position, which means superior subordinate, superior subordinate, superior subordinate. So the subordinate, how much duties to be performed, which can be delegated by the superior authority. That means superior may be officer, may be supervisor, or maybe say sectional in charge. They will be goes to assign. Delegation of authority and the creation of responsibility. There are two indispensable. If you want to goes to improve the organization, both are necessary. First one is authority, second one is responsibility. Authority is very much important. Who can make the authority? That means who can make the rules and regulations. Next, what is the responsibility? That means against making of their authority, what are the responsibility to be taken over by him, or performed by him, or fulfilled by him. This can also clearly mentioned before making a network called as a organizing. Coordinating authority and responsibility relationship. Coordination of authority. That means in case any organization parallel positions are there, that means equal positions are there, then they will goes to need of a coordination. So who are the coordinated persons who can make a better understanding among them? For example, financial officer, production officer, accounting officer, recruitment officer, both are having a equal position. They should having a better coordination and cooperation, sharing of their information. And responsibility. Likewise, each and every equal position or any other positional person should feel the responsibility. Responsibility in the sense where the work has given by the subordinate, which can be fulfilled by them, which can be completed by them. Relationship, a better relationship among the peoples in an organization should be required. Otherwise, the teamwork is not formed. Why? Because organization is a teamwork. The third function is staffing. This is also very much important in an organization. Staffing is a very much important function which can be used to procurement of the individuals or peoples in the organization. That means manning the organization through proper and effective selection, appraisal and development of the personnel, and as well as making of a rules, regulations and a role designed by each and every staff in an organization. The main purpose of staffing is to put the right person on right job. Simply, staffing is procurement of peoples into the organization with a appropriate procedure or process. Here, we would like to know the other important area is staffing involves the following elements. That means elements of staffing. The first element, manpower planning. That means how to maintain the peoples in organization, which is representing, power searching, choose the person and give the right place. That means a appropriate person which will goes to identified and given appropriate job or work. Manpower planning. That means a course of action regarding to how to utilize the peoples in the organization is called manpower planning. Second element is recruitment, selection, placement, training. There are four important aspects in this point. First one is recruitment. Recruitment means how to get the application into the organization. That means whenever a manager or a personal manager, first of all, identify the vacancies in an organization, then he will be goes to announce either electronic media or print media or any other communication channel the vacancies to be announced to the public. Then the public applied to the jobs. Up to these three elements, first one is identification of vacancies, issuing of the advertisement and receiving the application. These 3 points comes under the meaning of recruitment. Let us go to selection. Whenever the people applied for the job, then the applications to be scrutinized according to the qualifications, requirements and needs. Then they will go to send the interviewing letters. Then they will go to conduct a interviewing procedure. First of all, a written test, then physical test, then social awareness, then then they will be goes to give the appointment order. Up to this stage, he will be goes to called as selection. Simply issuing letters to the public, conducting test, written test, medical test, then interviewing, then a offering letter issued to the people. Placement or training and development. Training and development is very much important. Training means we will go to give the some training for particularly new persons, new employees, because they doesn't know totally the nature and features of the job. Why? Because he is completely new. They will be goes to provided on classroom and non-classroom training. Development. Whenever the person recruited already is having experience, immediately he will be goes to additionally provided some guidelines towards how to existed in our organization, how to existed in my work is called development. Last one is placement. The right person to be placed in a right job according to the training and development procedure. Let us go to Last one, remuneration and performance appraisal and promotions transfers. Remunerations. The remuneration to be fixed according to the skill, knowledge, experience and qualification. Performance appraisal, a periodical review to be taken into consideration to know the merit rating, is called performance appraisal through various tests and tools to be used by the manager. Promotions, a periodical promotions to be given to the employees. Why? Because they will be goes to motivated. Transfer, a periodical transfer from one department to another department to be taken into the consideration. Next function is directing. Direction is that interpersonal aspects of management which deals directly with influencing, guiding, supervising, motivating subordinate for the achievement of organizational goals. Direction has the following elements. That means direction includes the further following elements. The first one is supervision. Supervision implies overseeing the work of subordinate by their superior. It is the act of watching and directing work and workers. A person is appointed, his work is only watching, only seeing where and when, how the people are working. Next, motivating. Motivating means stimulate the employees towards his given job. That means inspiring, encouraging the subordinates with zeal to work. Positive and negative monetary, non-monetary incentives may be used for this purpose. Financial or monetary benefits are very much impact on motivation of the employees. Leadership. Leadership means it is a captainship which is used by the manager. A efficient manager guides, influences the work of subordinates in desired direction as he is a first person in the team. To maintain the peoples in the organization, he can use various leadership styles. Next one, communication. It is the process of passing information, experience, opinion, etc. from one person to another person. It is the bridge of understanding among the peoples. Controlling. It implies measurement of accomplishment against the standards and correction of deviation, if any, to ensure achievement of organizational goals. Controlling means streamline the behavior or attitude of the employees in an organization. An efficient system of control helps to predict deviations before they actually occurs. That is, controlling is the process of checking whether or not proper progress is being made towards the objective and goals and acting, if necessary, to correct any deviation. Simply streamline the behavior of an employees in the organization. Controlling has the following steps: establishment of standard performance, measurement of actual performance, comparison of actual performance with the standard and finding out deviations if any, corrective action and streamline the behavior. I have given a chart which is very much helpful to get the better understanding on the functions of management. Let us go to another area in the same unit is evolution of management thought. Thought means origin, that means history. The origin of evolution management can be traced back to the days when man started living in groups. History reveals that strong men organized the masses into groups according to their intelligence, physical and mental capabilities. Management in some form or the other has been practiced in the various parts of the world since the dawn of civilization. Simply, approach of management, that means study the background of the management. The chart is very much useful to us to know a brief classification of the evolution of management. Basically, the evolution has classified into four areas: pre-scientific approach, classical approach, neoclassical approach, modern approach. Let us go to discuss one after another. Pre-scientific management approach before 1880. The advent of industrial evolution in the middle of 18th century had its impact on management. The Industrial Revolution brought about a complete change in the method of production, tools and equipments, organization of labor and methods of raising capital. This is a very beginning stage of the management. There is no prescribed scientific rules in this era. Second one, classical or traditional approach theory between 1880 and 1930. This classical approach is the oldest form of approach of management thought. Its roots predate the 20th century. Components or elements of classical theory. It is a traditional theory. The traditional theory is based on the following three elements. First one is scientific management. There is no traditional work behavior in the scientific management era. That means traditional rules of thumb are replaced by precise procedures developed after careful study of an individual work. Standardization of work, rules, activities and discipline. The role of manager and the business hierarchy are fixed. The second under this classical approach is administrative management. Administrative management focus on the management process and the principles of management, which deals largely with jobs and work at the individual level of analysis. That means there are various administrative rules are performed among the jobs and organizational areas. Bureaucratic management. Bureaucratic management denotes to the perfect type of organization. Principles of bureaucracy includes clearly defined and specialized functions, use of legal authority, hierarchical form, written rules and procedure. Bureaucracy means there is a ownership who can maintain the organization with the help of authority, hierarchical form, written rules and procedures. Third era or approach thought is neoclassical theory or behavioral theory, 1930 to 1950. In this era, management has given a complete importance for behavior of employees or workers in the organization. That means to know the attitude and behavior of an individual while rendering the jobs. That means it is a psychological makeup procedure. Components are elements of classical theory. Behavioral science. That means the total behavior of an organization was fixed with respect to economic and non-economic, social and cultural behavior of the peoples. For understanding of the problems, predicting behavior against the problem in an workplace. Second one is modern approach. Quantitative and systematic tools are used to manage the activities. Components are elements of modern approach. First one is quantitative approach. The quantitative approach focus on improving decision making, that is application of quantitative, statistical and mathematical techniques. That means mathematics is very much useful to speed up the information by applying various mathematical and statistical tools. Second one is systems approach. The organization has totally divided into smaller parts. That means organization is a single unit or single system which can also subdivide into various parts and various systems to make the better administration, to make the better responsibility, accountability to render the powers and duties. Contingency or situational approach. That means management always perform the duties according to the situation. That means there is no single tool or single solution which can be applied for all the situations. So according to the situations, the solutions to be changed. There are various principles or process to be adopted on each and every situation, such as external environment, technology, characteristics of organization, managers, and subordinate attitude, etc. Information technology approach or thought. By the late 1980, there is a very much important for information technology. That means the information to be received with the help of computer and hardware processor, which is very much speed and accurate. Nowadays, we are using this type of technique or tool to get the managerial information. Universal approach. That means any management activity or any management tool or solution to be taken into consideration with reference to universally accepted principles. Applying uniform management principles with reference to universal standards, procedures and principles.